Albrechtova, and I'm an English teacher. Although currently I'm on paternal leave, so I'm very glad that I can be without my kids right now, honestly. Let's start. Also, before starting the presentation, I would like to ask you whether you can have, of course you have, but just in case, whether you can have your mobile phone somewhere close, because we're gonna vote. Yeah, there are gonna be some brainstorming activities, little ones, no worries. Yeah, simple ones. But I would need you to access one web. Yeah, no worries. I'll explain everything later. Yeah, it's not a big deal. No worries, anyone. Yeah, just your mobile, so that, or I suppose you are on mobiles, maybe some of you, or tablets, whatever. Yeah, just to access the internet. Yeah. All right. So let's start, shall we? I'm gonna share my screen. Yeah.
Yes, Misha, we are seeing it. All is good.
Yeah, everything is fine because
Yeah.
yeah. And let me hit present. It should be even better. All right, so today we're going to talk about learning foreign languages, and with a special focus on like not online learning, but let's say learning apps, but not only. Yeah, because I still think it's really important to know the background, you know, to know how your mind or your brain is organized, and then I think you can have better experience when learning. Yeah, and you also might be much more successful. So let's dive in. Okay, so there is one quote I would like to start with, which says, "Learning is about making changes in your brain." So I totally agree with that. Yeah, and also, you know, it's good to reframe learning as changes, because some people still consider learning as something like a duty. Yeah, something which what might be uncomfortable, or at least the process of learning something might be uncomfortable or tedious or something like that. Yeah, so let's consider learning as something that makes changes in your brain. That's pretty neutral, right? And this quote was pronounced or said by Barbara Oakley, who is researcher at Oakland University. She's also author of one book, called Uncommon Sense of Teaching. It's a good book for anyone who is interested in the topic, how to learn or study and teach, of course, in an effective way. So, first of all, I would like to present like what I'm going to do today. So first, I'll give you a short introduction, a brief introduction. Then we're going to speak about the science behind learning, because as I mentioned earlier, this is very important. Yeah, to know how it works in our brains, to yeah, to be effective learners. And also, this is also important when choosing, for example, the online apps, because if you know how it works inside your brain, then you can, you know, it's easier to decide what app is better for you. Okay, then I'll speak about our memory. It's closely connected with the previous topic. And also, I'm going to, or afterwards, I'm going to touch the field of motivation. That's the third part, what makes us tick, what makes us going, because when learning something, we really need to we need to last, basically. So we need some consistency, because like everyone tends to give up, especially when the work is, or when it gets harder. First lessons are usually simple, then it gets harder, or we get more tired, and often we quit, right? Okay, so I'll share some tips there. Also, I'm going to mention about some strategies. We feel like everyone knows, but really seldom we kind of accept them, so we often forget about them, even though once you hear them, you will say, okay, this is something everyone knows, right? But like it's good to keep them in mind. And when learning languages, not only English, it's good to keeping it balanced, because English is not only reading, it's also language is not only reading, it's also writing, listening, and speaking. Yeah, so the speaking is usually an issue. We're going to address it, no worries. And in the end, there is also short discussion. We're going to do it via Menti, kind of brainstorming, or if you feel like you can type your questions into the chat box, right? And we will address it. Okay, so let's start. So why we are doing this webinar, or why am I interested in the topic? Because as a teacher, I see that my students or pupils, they don't have or they don't have the know-how how to learn. Also, when I was a pupil or student, like no one ever taught me how to get stuff into my head. And it was really sometimes I really struggled. Sometimes I came up with some uh, some little hints that helped me. Yeah, but systematically, like no one ever taught me how to do it. And when interviewing my students, because I'm secondary school teacher, they also they don't have a clue how to remember stuff, how to study in an effective way. And I think it's a pity, and we should change it, because then they can be more successful, they can enjoy their studies more. It's simply a good stuff to know. So first, I'm going to ask you one question. The first one. Were you taught how to learn or study at school? It's a first question of our webinar pool. So either go to menti.com. Wait, yeah, and use code 83308480, or just scan the QR code. And if I may, I'd like to get rid of the QR code so that we can. Okay. So we've got already get first answer. No, but I learned elsewhere. That's also my case. Thank you. Yeah, someone was taught and found it useful. Someone can't remember. So. Right. So. Yes, but I don't use it. It's also sometimes my case because I know the know-how, but sometimes I don't feel like working on it. Okay. So let's move on. So the science behind learning. So when learning something, it's really important to distinguish between passive and active learning. There's an analogy explaining it, a very simple one. So imagine someone's playing the guitar and you are watching them and listening. Yeah, so that's passive learning. You are okay. You're spotting how, like, the rhythm, maybe the accords, how they press the guitar, to get some special sounds. Yeah, but still you're not playing. And once you hit the guitar and you should play on your own, it's completely different, right? So that's the difference between passive and active learning. And also, when remembering things, for example, when you experience something, when you have the hand-on knowledge of something, also it's more probable that you will remember this thing than just only seeing something happening. Yeah. So also when speaking about being a teacher or in class experience, when having a dialogue, when speaking, yeah, this is different than just like passively receiving information, like listening how someone's talking. Yeah. Also, another thing to consider is our learning modes. That's how our brains are wired. Yeah. So usually when we deal with some new information, we use this focused brain mode, let's say. And it's happening in the prefrontal cortex here. And the important thing is that, like, this is our working memory. Yeah. Like thinking right now. Our working memory can handle just about 3 or 4 chunks of information, yeah, at the same time, yeah, and the rest is stored in our like in the back of the in our long-term memory, let's say. Yeah. So sometimes when learning something, we are focused, but to remember something, it's really important to store it or to move it to our long-term memory. Yeah. And this is usually done when our like the way, or like the way how our brain works is diffused. It's like diffuse mode of thinking. Yeah. And this happens, for example, it's called or Barbara Oakley, the lady I mentioned at the beginning. She calls it coffee shop effect. So imagine you are trying to learn something, in a coffee shop, so you are focused. And then there are some disturbing voices. Someone greets you, for example, so you stop focusing and you like switch your concentration. And this is very important. Yeah. Because then the other type of thinking is engaged, and it helps to move the information or the chunks of information to your long-term memory. Many people say that they have a bad memory. Yeah. I think I'm the case also. Yeah. Just remembering things, that's a big deal for me, really. Trust me. But Barbara Oakley says that people who claim that they have bad memory, they are much more creative. Yeah. Because they have to balance their memory with something else. Yeah. So remember that when complaining about your bad memory. Other stuff she mentions is that, like, that's the I call it dilemma of career counseling, because for example, there are or you might spot differences between girls and boys when they are young kids. I myself, I have two boys, and I can really see it. Like their verbal abilities are kind of limited. Like at the age of 2, my friend's daughter, she was able to produce sentences. My boys at the age of 2, they just, maybe syllables. Yeah. Maybe not even that. Yeah. So like normally on average, boys are a bit slower when it comes to a development of verbal abilities. Yeah. But Barbara Oakley says, and she's a scientist, there's some scientific research behind this, says that this is because they are more exposed to testosterone. So boys, I mean, so they are like slower in verbal abilities. Yeah. Like when we compare the average boy, an average boy. But then they will catch up on later. But girls, they usually feel like they are good at verbal abilities. So what do you do if you are good at something? You explore it further. You are more happy about it because you are kind of above average. So you kind of follow your passion. Yeah. But sometimes, like following your passions doesn't correspond to reality. Yeah. So maybe the easiest way, it's not the best way. Yeah. So this is also one thing we should keep in mind, that like this follow your passion, and this might not always be the best way for someone looking for a job, let's say. Yeah. Also, especially a friend, like a colleague of Barbara Oakley, Beth Rogovsky, they made or they did a lot of research together, and she argues that learning styles. Do you know about learning styles? It's like whether you are like audio learner or visual learner. I always thought that I'm a visual learner, that I need to see it, I need to see images. Yeah. But Beth Rogovsky argues that this is not really true, that the research doesn't there is no significant evidence for it. And when learning something, don't limit yourself to that, for example, you are audio learner, so you need to hear everything here, because in this way you really uh, weaken your ability to use other senses. Yeah, which is a pity. Yeah. So don't worry that even though you feel like you need visual images to learn something, don't limit yourself to visual images. It's always good to engage all senses. Yeah, because there is no scientific evidence on it, on these learning styles. Yeah. And the last thing is procrastination. Why do we procrastinate? They argue that we procrastinate when the when the task is too hard for us. Yeah, because like normally people avoid doing unpleasant things. Yeah, so basically that's procrastination. So we need to reframe it, and later I'll show you one strategy how to beat procrastination. So let's move. So that's the last slide about the science. No worries. So as I just to sum it up, as I said, like our working memory can also hold can only hold 3 or 4 chunks of information. Yeah. Our goal is always to move the chunks of information to the long-term memory. Yeah, because from long-term memory we can retrieve it. Yeah. Well, learning for learning is really important to just to stop thinking about it. Let's say sleep on it. Some time. Because learning takes place when we don't pay attention, when we are in the diffused mode of thinking, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, and also what helps is interleaving practice. Interleaving, when you are presented with new piece of information, it's good to connect it with something you already know. Yeah. For example, in languages, it's like a chunk of like collocations. You learn. It's not good to learn just just words. And it's or their translation. Yeah, it's always better to learn chunks, like a p or part of a sentence. Yeah, because when recalling it, you already know something, so you connect it. Yeah, and that's what matters. Another thing, which is also crucially important, is a spaced repetition system. You might know the forgetting curve, that when we are exposed to something, after 20 minutes we remember, like, I don't know, let's say 70%. After 24 hours it's like, I don't know, 40%, of the information. So it's really important to engage in repetition, to review stuff, and not only once. It should be done several times, yeah. And because then you really store it in your long-term memory, and the information lasts, yeah. So this is also extremely important. Repetition is important. And many online apps, they address this theory, yeah. So for example, here you can see a logo of Anki. This is one of the free apps. And Anki also works, or one of the principles of Anki is spaced repetition system, yeah. So you learn some words, and then then the system, after 1 day, 2 days, 4 days, they present you the vocabulary again, so that you can, you really need strong neural connections to keep it in your long-term memory, and be able to retrieve it when needed. So yeah, they usually it's done with a stack of flashcards. You can also make your own flashcards, and you know what flashcards are. You write the for example, sentence or chunks or collocation, part of sentence, let's say, and if you flip it, you see the meaning, yeah? And you go through it, you review it, yeah? Okay, some people, or many people, including me, claim that their memory is bad, but as Barbara Oakley said, if you feel like you have a bad memory, it's not that bad, because you must be more creative. Yes, so let's embrace our creativity. And I really recommend this guy. His name is Nelson Dellis. He's British, but I think currently living in the US. He's a memory athlete, yeah, and he has some wonderful videos how to memorize things, and also it works for languages, also for names, faces. He will show you how to memorize lists. This system is called Memory Palace, or Memory Palaces, yeah, and also foreign words. So just briefly, because we don't have much time to delve into it, yeah, but just check him out. You'll remember his name. You see, Nelson Dellis, yeah. So how it works, how to recall his name after the presentation, yeah. So Nelson, I put here Admiral Nelson, the Battle of Trafalgar, you see him. And this is a bit blurred, sorry. Deli shop. Deli means delicatessen, yes, with some good stuff to buy. So remember him, yeah. So we are connecting Admiral Nelson and Deli shop, yeah. Delis, yeah. It's familiar, yeah. So I'm sure you're gonna remember at least this name. Yeah, Barbara Oakley, that's pretty harsh. Also, Beth Rogowski. Yeah, but this guy, see, remember, Admiral Nelson is buying something uh, in a deli shop. Yeah, you're gonna remember it. I'm sure of that. And basically, this is the principle how he teaches how to train our brains to be successful. Yeah, he won a lot of memory championships, like at least four. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, check him out. All right, now so Paul again. So how do you remember vocabulary? Let's brainstorm some ideas. Also, I want to be inspired how you do it, guys. So please share share with me some tips. How do you remember vocabulary? Because what I do, I have a stack of post-it notes. I stick it everywhere, yeah, and it's a bit messy. Yeah, once it gets too messy, I stick it in a notebook. Yeah, but it works only when I see it. Yeah, once. That's why I thought that I'm the only visual learner, but I'm not. Yeah, like all senses must be engaged, right? Repetition, repetition. Yeah. Also, post-it notes, my best friends, trust me. Okay, the story method by Jakub Pok. By writing on small papers with front and back. Okay. Mm-hmm. If I had an experience with that vocabulary, that also works because your emotions are attached to it. That's basically what Nelson Daly's promotes. Because if there are some emotions, like a captain, it can be nonsense, but there are some emotions. There's something weird about it. It always works. Repeating by myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, what is extremely recommended is that it's not just, like passive reading of vocabulary, let's say, but trying to retrieve it, like without. At it. Okay. Mhm. Really interesting. Thank you for your input. Really interesting. Okay. Let's say Duolingo. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's move on. Oh, another part, what makes us tick. So what motivates us? Also, when speaking or producing foreign language, you know, um, there is something called high penalty for error. Yeah, especially if you are adult, you really feel like ashamed or embarrassed by making mistakes. uh, Kids, they don't have it. That's why they can be or they can be fluent quite easily or get fluent quite easily. But as adults, we always worry, especially when we communicate with native speakers. Yeah, it's even me. I always like, I always get much more stressed when talking to native speakers. Yeah, and these are like our deeply ingrained but faulty strategies. Yeah, sometimes we feel like all or nothing. We must know like every part of it, or it's we would fail. Yeah, or we overgeneralize. We feel like one failure. If something goes bad, then it's like the first or it's like the start of series of errors. Yeah, and we tend to give up. Yeah, or when there is something like what we perceive as negative, we forget about the positive stuff because we only focus on the negative, that we felt badly or we couldn't recall one single word, or also about we we think that we can read other people's mind, that they would judge us, that we are not fluent, that we make mistakes. Yeah, but like even natives, they don't do it. Why? Yeah, if someone tries to speak your language, do you judge them for making mistakes? Not really, right? Yeah. Also, we have this feeling that we should have done better. Yeah, that we should have said something else, and these all stuff. It's not a good thing to think, and it's so how to overcome this. Yeah, because it really holds us back when learning languages. Yeah, and these this stuff what I have just said, this is linked with emotions. Yeah, emotions, the seat of emotions is in our amygdala here, like the oldest part of the in terms of development of our brains. And so it's good because these are emotions, negative emotions. It's good to reframe them. Yeah, just to to say, so what if someone judges me, or if someone thinks that I'm a miserable speaker or learner, so then what? Yeah, then nothing, right? It's what someone else thinks. It's just their their thoughts. Yeah, won't change anything. Yeah, so just try to to find words for these negative emotions and reframe them. Yeah, so it's not a big deal, most of them. Yeah, so these are the mental tricks. Yeah, just find words for your negative emotions and like remove them from the emotional part of your brain to the rational one. Yeah, it'll help. Okay, so earlier I mentioned procrastination. I'm a huge procrastinator, and it's really hard to start with something. Once I start, I go. Yeah, but the hardest part is to start. Yeah, everything. Yeah, so what makes us stick? What makes us going? You might know there's one strategy how to get around to something unpleasant, how to start with something unpleasant. uh, and now I'm speaking about learning. Yeah, but can be also activities, other activities. So there is a method called Pomodoro. There was one Italian student, and he developed this this method. It's he took a kitchen timer, you know, and he put or he found out that 25 minutes sessions are good because you can focus for 25 minutes. It's not a big deal. Like if someone tells you, okay, try to study for 2 hours, oh, that's too long, right? But 25 minutes, everyone can do it, right? So not a big deal. And after 25 minutes, take 5 minutes break. Uh, because in this break or during this break, you should be engaged in different kind of activities. So let's say I am trying to learn something. So in these 5 minutes, I should like stand up, stretch out, sip coffee or something like that, something different. Yeah, not like that. I open a book and I read a chapter. Yeah, that's not a good thing. Should be something else. Yeah, to get your brain into diffuse mode, and this will solidify the information from your prefrontal cortex, you know, from the focused mode. Yeah, so these breaks are really important to retain information, yeah, or what we learn. Yeah, so this is the Pomodoro method. There are a lot of apps, free apps, or you can simply use the kitchen timer, but just a small disclaimer, it doesn't work for everyone. Sometimes you feel like working more. Some people or some scientists, they suggest uh, like that one session should be like 51 minutes or 52, and then a bit longer break. But this basic version, let's say it's 25 minutes, then 5 minutes break, and then again 25 5 minutes break, and after 4 sessions the break should be longer. Yeah, don't know who can last more than 4 sessions. Yeah, but yeah, this is like the basic version. You can check it out. Really, there are a lot of apps with Pomodoro. Yeah, you'll see the tomato like that. So my question now is, have you ever used a timer for studying? And how long can you focus before you start daydreaming, which is not that bad because during daydreaming, we switch into the diffuse mode of thinking, and that helps us to move the information to long-term memory. Yeah, but let's keep it basic. Have you ever used a timer for studying? And how long can you focus? Also, what I forgot to tell you, the 5 minute break, it's kind of reward for you, yeah, like for your mind. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, if you can stay focused for 15 minutes, there's no problem. You can set it for 15 minutes. Yeah, it's really individual. Also, some people they want to have it longer because sometimes, especially when enjoying it, we get into the state of mind called flow. Yeah. And it's the time that's the best time. You don't think about time. You are not hungry nor thirsty, nothing. You just keep on going. That's the best thing. Yeah. So sometimes it can like Pomodoro method, if you set a timer, it can interfere with your flow. Yeah. So that's why it's not for everyone, as always. Yeah. Oh, so as I see, we have some experienced users of also this method, which is great. Yeah. So again, what I want to point out is that even if you got on the train of thoughts and you start daydreaming, that's the diffuse mode. It's good because it helps you to solidify the chunks of information. All right, moving on. Okay, so also these are the common sense strategies, like everyone knows, but we seldom apply them, at least all. Yes, so what should be pointed out? Immersion. So if you learn a language, don't put like that's also linked to the all or nothing kind of thinking or strategy. Yeah. So if you are a beginner, don't start with advanced level. Yeah. It's always good to go maximum like your level plus one. Yeah. Because then the input is not so massive and you are more likely to enjoy it. Yeah. And also if there is like only couple of words unknown, it's easier for you, to navigate through the text and just to keep going. Yeah. Also, what is important, especially when you are not abroad and you want to learn the language, it's good to be surrounded by the language. So set, for example, English as your default language in your mobile, your PC, like everywhere. Yeah. Uh, Also, it's really hard to learn or to keep going. Yeah. So try to be persistent. Also, these like Duolingo apps, or like most of the apps, they suggest practicing, let's say 5-10 minutes a day, but keep going. Yeah, that's important. Some people also suggest like keeping a learning journal or diary. This is helpful when you feel like you are, let's say, on intermediate level or advanced level, and you feel like you are not moving anywhere. So just to trace what you are struggling with, then after a couple of hours you can scroll back, and you can really see your progress. Yeah, so that also helps you. Yeah. um let's embrace our mistakes, because mistakes should be felt like, it's like a step to your perfection. Yeah, because once you make the mistake, yeah, you know about it, and you probably won't do it again. Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, unfortunately, from I'm speaking on behalf not on behalf, but like from the Czech experience in our school, like all the teachers are wired for mistakes, like it's just they are looking for mistakes. Yeah. We should really feel like mistakes are like steps, to grow us, to help us grow. Yeah. And also a good thing, not only for language learning, is to find an accountability partner. So share it with someone, because when you share that For example, you learn English or Spanish, whatever, every day for 5 minutes, yeah, and then you are less likely to quit, yeah, because it's like a promise to someone, yeah. So it's a good thing, finding an accountability partner. Well, and as I said, learning languages is not only, it should be active, but we should also um, we should work on 4 skills. We have 4 skills in languages. It's simplified thing, yeah, but let's say reading, yeah. So we shouldn't be focused only on one thing and forgetting other skills. So let's develop all of them, yeah, because it's like a chair. If a four-legged chair, if one leg is shorter, then it's like kind of wobbly, it's not solid. So how to work on our reading skills, yeah. So always keep in mind, like, your level or your level +1. You can also use chat GPT these days, yeah. It's perfect. Sometimes you can't find, for example, an article what you like, so just that would be good for your level, I mean. So you can copy like a normal article from newspaper to chat GPT, tell it to simplify it, like make it A2, yeah, for learners, yeah. And this is very helpful, yeah. So don't worry, yeah, just I suppose everyone has tried, yeah, but also for language learning. Some apps offer also like kind of programs where you can read while listening. For example, Link Q, yeah, try it out. I tried. It's not bad. You also so there's a text, and you can read it while listening it. And if there is something unknown, you just click on it, and it goes to your vocabulary bank. Yeah, just what I found. I think they're still working on it. Yeah, but some phrasal verbs, it's just like the system just gets like the verb and not the preposition, yeah. For example, there was written something that someone put over, and I clicked on it, and it displayed just put, it didn't got the whole phrasal verbs, yeah. But maybe just uh they might work on it, yeah. But it's free, good thing, yeah. Okay, writing. For writing, okay, you can use ChatGPT to have a decent conversation, or yeah, there's a typo. Sorry. Yeah, you can also write reviews, comments. Yeah, ChatGPT, as I said, or Grammarly. That's a good thing. That's like text editor. It's free, and it writes you, or it explains and suggests like or rephrase some stuff you write, and it explains why, which is good. ChatGPT doesn't do it. ChatGPT just corrects what's wrong, yeah, but there's not the learning effect, yeah. Grammarly is definitely better, yeah. And listening, again, be careful or try to distinguish between active listening and passive listening, because passive, sometimes we are doing something while listening, something that's passive, yeah, that's not very helpful, yeah. So listening should be active. Sometimes we can use the method of shadowing, like when you stop it, you try to repeat it, yeah, trying to imitate the rhythm, the intonation, pronunciation. There are plenty of online tools to practice listening. Yeah, and sorry, I didn't. Yeah, there's still a lot of natural reader. So like you can use YouTube also. Yeah, but for example, if you find an article and you want to hear it, and there's like it's not possible to to listen to it, you can copy it into this natural reader, and it's also free, and you can listen to it, which is good. Yeah. And the last skill I want to address is speaking, or address our speaking skills. So before we dive into it, I would like to ask you, how do you practice speaking skills? Because usually this is the hardest thing. Yeah, we often uh, we often feel tongue tied. It's really hard to express ourselves, or we need more time to find words. Yeah, the best way is talking to someone. Mhm. Repeating after the teacher. Yeah. Yeah. Finding a foreign friend. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, language coffee. Even at my city, yeah, there are a lot of like language clubs, especially in bigger cities. Erasmus, talking to foreigners. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your responses. So, yeah, as I said, speaking skills are probably the hardest ones or the most advanced ones. Um, because when you produce language or words, your thoughts must be turned into spoken language, yeah, which is like there are more processes in your brain. A good strategy is shadowing, like you pause a dialogue and you speak like on behalf of the person, yeah. You also read out loud, yeah. And don't forget about the chunks of words, yeah, when learning something, because when you have it in chunks, then you spit it out easily, let's say. Also, it's good to think in English. Yeah. Like there's something going on and you can comment it in your head in English. Yeah. Also, it's good, like kind of, it's called like cultural shadowing. Like you listen to songs, you acknowledge customs, like learning what's going on in the countries of your interest, yeah. And of course, AI powered apps. And like I have here, like it's almost the very end of my presentation. What apps work for you? It means 2000 words. Duolingo. European Solidarity Corps can be. Yeah, yeah. ChatGPT also. Yeah. For flashcards, you don't even need to make them, which is good. It's good. Anki, yeah, the with the orange icon, yeah, Anki is good. Yeah, memorize, yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Or there are some apps run by the British Council. Some parts are paid, but some of them are not. It's good. Mm-hmm.